Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great day, start to your work week. We have a big update on Michigan. I know you guys are dying to know what is going down with the Michigan Wolverines and what is going to be happening. We've got a nice update on BuckeyeScoop.com. We posted it this morning. We're going to go through a little bit of that, and we're going to take your questions as well. As always, if you could leave us a like, click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. We have a pretty funny story about why we're a little late today, but we appreciate you guys hanging in there and kicking it in the chat for a minute. As always, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you take care of our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings and Twin Peaks. Those are two premier restaurants in Columbus. There are 3 Twin Peaks throughout Ohio. There's also a ton of Buffalo Wild Wings. So make sure you take care of them. We're going to be planning outings at each restaurant in the very near future. Very excited about our partnership. So we appreciate them reaching out and stepping up to take care of the Scoop family. So we said, hey, if we show up, there's going to be a lot of people coming. So you guys will really enjoy it. They actually were at the last event, at the Buffalo Wild Wings event, both groups. So really, really good stuff for us. So we appreciate you guys coming out strong. It's going to be an awesome time when we get our next event scheduled, which should be pretty quicker. So I just want to let you guys know that. As always, shout out where you guys are watching from. Shout out who you guys are watching with. As always, we appreciate you guys so very much. It's going to be a huge shout out because you guys made it one. If you guys have questions regarding anything, get the super chats fired up. Super chats are a great way to pay it forward, take care of our armed servicemen, our first responders, and our military members. We appreciate you all so very much. So thank you for supporting them. And thank you to those groups for everything that you guys do for our country. We appreciate you so very much. With that being said, without further ado, Nevadabuck is now joining us. Nevada, how's your day been?
My day's been crazy, but as crazy as my day's been, at least I'm not Michigan, and that's what that makes me feel better. So no matter what's going on, I'm like, at least I'm not Michigan, and that always makes me feel better.
Yeah, there were a couple layers to this. Obviously, you broke some stuff. I'm going to let you break it on here regarding former coach Jim Harbaugh and some of the potential penalties that could be handed out to him. And again, I think when something as severe as what you're going to talk about happens, I think Roger Goodell will take some sort of an action like he did against Jim Tressel. Again, could be anywhere along the board. But when it's something as severe as we're going to talk about, I think that they're going to have a little bit of a penalty in Los Angeles. Additionally, the Conor Stalions thing at Central Michigan at that Michigan State game is not going away. The Michigan State athletic director spoke about how he wants some sort of an explanation as to how Conor Stalions got on their sideline. Central Michigan obviously knows how he got on their sideline. They claim to have done an investigation. They have not revealed the findings, obviously. It is not known if anybody lost their job. It's very interesting, to say the least. But we'll start with your guy, Jim Harbaugh. What are some of the things that you've heard? Because you've had a source who's been absolutely nails throughout the entire Michigan cheating scandal. But what did you hear in the last couple of days from your guy talking about Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, it's as you guys are aware, got a pretty dialed-in source when it comes to all matters NCAA. And that's how we've managed to stay ahead of this story and kind of steer you guys in the right direction in terms of what could go down, what is going down, what might go down, what isn't going to go down. And so far, I have not been steered wrong by the source, and was able to kind of give me a kind of a firsthand look in terms of what the NCAA is looking at in terms of considerations for Harbaugh. And apparently the conversations within the NCAA regarding Harbaugh, it's not lost on them that Harbaugh has escaped and gone on to the NFL. That is not lost on them. It's not lost on them that when that happens, that somebody has kind of been able to skirt the arm of the law and stay one step ahead of any type of punishment that was going to be handed down to them by the NCAA. And so the question became to the group, what's an appropriate punishment for somebody who's done this, who's kind of escaped? And they kind of laid out the criteria for what the most severe punishments would be. And they said, well, the most severe punishments would be if a person was a repeat offender, if their transgressions went to the very heart of competition and the integrity of the game, and if the person was non-cooperative and kind of belligerent towards the NCAA, on top of the fact that this person has escaped punishment and gone on, to the NFL or whatever league they're going to go on to. And Harbaugh checked all all four of those boxes. And so the question became, what's an appropriate punishment? And in the discussion, the issue was raised: has college football ever issued a lifetime ban to any person? And they weren't sure. They were going through, and they actually assigned a subcommittee to look into the legal and historical precedent in terms of, is there is the possibility of a lifetime ban something that they could ever even lay down? And I think the punishments that they're talking about ranging for Harbaugh range anywhere from a 10-year show cause to a 15-year show cause to potential lifetime ban. And to me, it wasn't important because I feel like a 15-year show cause or a 12-year show cause or a 10-year show cause is effectively a lifetime ban anyway. So this is mainly symbolic, but it really was chilling to me because it showed to me how seriously with which the NCAA is taking this whole matter. And I thought it was kind of ironic that on the day that this kind of dropped and this information came out, this is going out, that the Michigan State AD came out and was like, "Hey, we're demanding answers on Central Michigan. We're going to, how Conor Stalions got on the sideline and was doing his surveillance and his advanced scouting, and we haven't gotten an answer yet." Which is not, again, we have to remember is the NCAA operates. They generally operate in one fashion. They announce an investigation when it's beginning. They announce an investigation when it's ending, but they don't generally, give you updates in the middle. So that's what made the whole thing of when they went to the Big Ten last year in the middle of the season so without precedent. I'm not saying it's the only time it's ever happened, but I cannot remember ever hearing about another time where the NCAA came in the middle of an investigation and notified the league for current sanctions because they were afraid that the evildoers were gonna escape unscathed. And so I think now Michigan State is saying, "Hey, we haven't heard anything," which is not atypical because the NCAA is still doing their investigation. But he basically threatened the future games against Central Michigan, which would be a huge, financial boon for Central Michigan, because basically the trust has been eroded, and it shows you how seriously Michigan State is taking this. I know Michigan fans want to pretend like this has all gone away, because I'm not seeing anything right now in front of my eyes. Nobody's even thinking about this. Well, I can tell you who's thinking about this: the NCAA. I can tell you another person's thinking about it: Michigan State, and they're not the only ones. Everybody wants justice done. Everybody has a different idea of justice done, but boy, wouldn't it be poetic justice if Jim Harbaugh was the first player or the first coach or person to ever be banned from college football for life? I mean, to wear that scarlet letter the rest of his career, I mean, it would cast a shadow on everything. And as to your earlier point, I think it would force Roger Goodell into some sort of punitive action against him, because to have a guy that was banned from college football running to the NFL and able to escape punishment, I think even for Goodell, that would be a bridge too far. And I think at that point, he'd be forced to step in and act. So we'll see how it unwinds. I'm not even sure if it's legal if they can do it, but the fact that they even brought it up, I thought was very chilling and very ominous for Michigan.
Yeah, I think that if you look at Roger Goodell in the past when he's dealt with cheating scandals, like namely Deflategate, and Josh McDaniels got busted for taping walkthroughs and doing that kind of stuff, like he smacks those guys pretty hard. I mean, he took away first round picks. He fined the Patriots a ton. I don't know if it was $1 million. It was something close to that. It was a huge fine. Took away a first round pick, which obviously how valuable a first round draft pick is in an NFL organization. So it's and there were suspensions for Brady with Deflategate. I mean, again, when there's like cheating scandals, again, this doesn't affect the sanctity that is the NFL, but Roger Goodell, like he smacks people down pretty good. So if you get on the wrong side of the law, or you try to evade the law, or you try to flee, I mean, this feels like Jim Harbaugh is like he's like one of these celebrities that commits like some heinous crimes, and then they try to get on their jet and fly to some far off country where they can live off the grid and hope that they can evade capture and that type of thing. Because that's what it feels like with Jim Harbaugh. So, like I said, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I know Michigan fans can sit around and say, "Oh, nothing's happening, nothing's happened yet." But this is, I think that we live in in a world of instant gratification. I know that we live in a world of instant gratification. I'm not like telling you guys stuff you don't know, but in the era of social media and every trial is on, is like the OJ trial is on TV and there's updates and, so people expect there's going to be constant updates, but that's not how it works with like the NCAA. The NCAA, it moves a lot like an arbitration case where things are quiet, they're confidential, there's a lot of diligence being done, there's a lot of stuff to uncover, there's a lot of interviews to be done, a lot of fact finding, a lot of forensic stuff. U.S. integrity is involved, which, again, if those people show up, I'm terrified. I'm just telling you, because those people, they know how to find anything. They're the guys that, when the guy from the Toronto Raptors' buddy laid down like an $80,000 bet that he wouldn't score 10, whatever the part, he had like some parlay where it was like, I'm going to bet $80,000 my friend's not going to score 10 points in the game or something. And all of a sudden, they found him. They kicked the guy out of the game forever, the center for the Raptors or whoever was a forward. So again, when those guys get involved, then people that think that they're just skating around and they're just there for nothing are crazy. It's like if the feds, like if the FBI and the feds kick in your neighbor's door, there's probably something bad going on over there. They don't just randomly say, hey, we're gonna go kick in someone's door and just hope that we find something. Like they've got probable cause, the whole 9 yards. And that's what's going on with Michigan right now. And again, every single coach left that had an option to. Sherrod Moore stayed because, they gave him a big chunk of change, gets to be a head coach. I'm sure that they made a commitment to him where, hey, when the nuclear strike hits, we're going to ride with you, not going to fire you. But again, I had this talk with you earlier in the day. It'll be interesting to see what kind of punishment he gets because, he's the only guy that's still there. I mean, even Mike Hart, who doesn't have a job right now, is no longer there. They refreshed the entire coaching staff. So again, it's kind of like, in like a weird way, it's kind of like if you terminate somebody, then it looks like you're doing something as a proactive measure. I kind of felt like that when they fired Jim Tressel at Ohio State. They're like, oh, this stuff's going down. It's really bad. If we get out in front of it and we put a bullet in the guy's head and throw him out there and get rid of the staff, then it looks like we're being proactive. It didn't work out like that with Michigan because Jim Harbaugh just left and took the golden parachute out to Los Angeles. But everybody else went with him. That was the craziest thing is like, I was like, well, none of those position coaches on the defensive side want to get promoted to defensive coordinator. They're just all going to go to Los Angeles and be position coaches. Okay. So it was somewhat stunning to me. And again, I think that, there's Gene Smith coming out saying that there should be an asterisk, and again, Gene talks to people. Like, I mean, if we have sources, and I'm sure Gene, I hope he has a source somewhere in the NCAA since he's been an AD for 20 years at Ohio State and, like 45 years overall, whatever it's been. So, these guys talk to people. Like Michigan State's guy coming out and saying, we want resolution on this Conor Stalions thing. And again, I'm going to play the clip just because this is one of Nevada's favorite film clips of all time. This is like watching Casablanca with Nevada right here. Is his boy with the with the spy glasses on. I mean, again, I love illustrating this because you see him looking down at the floor, hat on, sunglasses on. He knows that the camera's over here because it just so happens that the guy from Central Michigan jumps up on the big thing, the big fan thing. So, again, you see the mannerisms. Like nobody does this on the sideline. Like nobody is like here, sunglasses on, during the daytime, and then looking down at the floor when there's nothing. There's no possible reason you should ever look at the floor, But it's it seems pretty obvious. And again, the thing, like everything in life, when people try to backpedal and skate around and not reveal the findings or even say who that guy was, then it's obvious it was him. It was obviously somebody put him on there, and it's obvious they knew why he was there because you don't just randomly put a staffer from another team, let alone Michigan State's biggest rival, on your sideline during a game. And so, again, that's the crazy thing to me because all they have to do, if it's not him or there was a reason, there's no reason for him to be there, is say, hey, this is what we found. It was this guy. We fired these two people. They're the reasons that he got on there. But Central Michigan has gone like 0 dark 30 on this. Nevada, What do you think the outcome is of this? Because this is like this is still the craziest thing in the world to me, that someone thought it'd be a good idea to let a Michigan staffer on their sideline with the little Meta glasses or Ray Bans or whatever, little cameras on the side. It's the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's insane. I don't believe it was the first time that it happened. I don't believe that was absolutely the first. I think this was he was a repeat offender. I think he'd done this multiple times. Clearly, the issue of let's not play the not that you're playing, but let's us as a group not play along with the. I wonder if it was Conor Stalions. Of course, it was Conor Stalions because, as you said, if it wasn't Conor Stalions, Central Michigan would have refuted this in about 17 seconds and showed a picture of little Timmy Barton or whoever it was that looks just like Conor Stalions, but is an assistant to the assistant strength trainer or whatever it is. He's on there. No, this was Conor Stalions. I love my favorite part of that clip is the little hat tug at the end of it when he's kind of pulling his hat down around, like he's trying to climb inside of his hat with his sunglasses at night type of outfit. But with the different shoes. But yeah, the fact that he was dressed as a Central Michigan coach was crazy. I mean, it was he actually had a disguise on, a disguise and spy glasses on the other sideline, and that's whenever I'm thinking about vacated wins or how bad this could be for them in 2023, because 2023 is the one that we really care about. I keep telling myself this happened in 2023. This happened this year. So this wasn't like, oh, that was back in 2021 or this was, but back in the day when whatever. I mean, that was this year that happened, and they got busted for it. And yeah, I mean, I think Michigan State. I love the fact that the AD brought it up. I think it was kind of a rhetorical thing. I mean, he's not actually expecting someone to answer the question right now because he knows there's an ongoing NCAA investigation. He knows that the last thing Central Michigan wants to do is comment on any of this because what can they say? There's nothing that they can say to get him out of this. Nothing. And there's liability. There's so many different layers of liability on this. There's the personal liability. There's the school liability. There's the employment liability. So I think Central Michigan has been advised by their counsel, just do not say anything about it. Don't respond. Don't try to explain. Don't offer any mea culpas. Just shut up. Let it all play out, and we'll take our medicine. When the medicine man comes around to hand it out. But no, I thought it was timely that came out because again, it's a reminder. Just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not happening. It's happening, folks. It's happening in real time. And for Michigan, man, the longer it goes on, the better. And I know I'm probably in a minority, and I know most people, I'd say 90% of the people I talk to want it to happen today or tomorrow, or they can't wait for this thing to happen. And man, I like it. I like it dangling over their head. I like it. The longer it goes on, the better. I want when the NCAA come out for it to have been completely well thought out, well researched, vetted out completely, and then we can all sit down and read this thing. And you thought the Tony Petitti 10-page letter to Michigan was great reading. Well, that's gonna make that one pale in comparison, and I'm ready for it.
I totally agree. I think it's gonna be absolutely fascinating to see what happens because like with Central Michigan and their thing is like they don't have a good explanation as to why he's there, and I think that they're just praying that this thing would just fade away and people would forget about it. So the Michigan State AD bringing this up is not great for business for those guys. So well, we can you got anything else before we get in a couple super chats?
I mean, I got so much else, but we can get into some super chats and then we can get on to other stuff and let's get this party started.
Got you. All right, Larry Daniels, one. Thank you for being ultra. Thank you for the 5. Calling for a welfare check on the Cheaterines. I don't think they're doing too hot, honestly. I mean, this is tough sled for them. And again, I know that they won the Natty, and I know that they think nothing's going to happen. But I mean, come on, guys. Like, is anybody that dumb that everybody's going to leave the program? Everybody that could get out could get out. It's bad up there, man. I mean, Sharon Moore, I think he's up against it this year. It's going to be fascinating. This is going to be a big year for Michigan because their schedule is crazy. Their team is going to be way down, in my opinion. Again, they're replacing 5 offensive linemen. That is exceptionally difficult, and a first-round quarterback. So whatever you think about JJ, I mean, he did go in the first round, so that's at least a something. So he's not like a seventh rounder. He's not John Navarre. Like he's like a legit dude, won national title. So they lost a lot of experience. And when you play a young team early in the season versus a really good team like Texas, there tends to be some hiccups and some growing pains. I think it's going to be some major growing pains versus the Texas Longhorns. Nevada, do you agree? Larry Daniels, again, thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my man. He is calling for a welfare check on the Cheaterines.
Yeah, the problem is, I don't know. Like I would say, the worst people are the people that don't know that they don't know. And I just think with the Michigan fans, they're so dumb, and they're so dumb. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there's bad fans out there, but they know they're bad fans. They know that they're homers. They know what Michigan fans don't even know, and I just keep hearing them try to rationalize this thing because they won the Natty. Like somehow that makes it all okay, and it doesn't. I mean, the half life on a national championship being happy. Think about it yourself as an Ohio State fan. The moment the 2014 we won the trophy and they hoisted it up in the air, and Mr. Barton and I were together there in Dallas, and confetti's falling down on top of us, and we're immediately thinking about the 2015 season and how many guys are going to come back, and can you repeat, and can you win again, and who's going to be good next year, and who's going to be the quarterback, and I mean, those are your questions. And for Michigan, their celebration was even shorter than it. I've never seen such a joyless offseason for a national championship team. They didn't get a bump in NIL. They didn't get a bump in the portal. They didn't get a bump in recruiting. They didn't get a bump in retaining guys. They didn't get a bump in retaining their staff. They didn't. They didn't get a bump in stability. Didn't get a bump in national image. None of those things happened. In fact, it was all the opposite. So it's like all the positive energy that you're supposed to get from a national championship manifested itself as terrible energy. And I hear more's coming. I hear they're going to have a big decommitment that's supposed to be coming this week from them, a 2025 kid. I don't even know who's in their 2025 class, but whoever it is, one of them's decommitting. So, and it's bad, and it's only going to get worse. And as you said, you're playing, possibly the 3 top teams in the country. Luckily, you play 2 of them at home. But their top's 9-3 this year ceiling. I think 7-5 is the floor. And in 2024 is absolutely going to be the high water mark for Michigan for the next 10 years. I think it's only going to be sliding downhill after that.
Yeah, and you made a good point about the 14 team and the way college football is like, we won once, what are we doing with 2? What we got coming back? And if after the Oregon game, Urban Meyer said, "Hey, I'm going to the LA Chargers," and we lost, a lot. It was the exact opposite. We had everybody back. We had the whole staff back minus Tom Herman. We had the whole team back minus a couple of players. It was the total opposite. So I mean, the confidence was sky high, but losing your head coach, and again, I know Sharon Moore beat Penn State, beat Ohio State last year, but again, when Jim Harbaugh can be there for 6 days a week and then be out there until up to kickoff and then until after the game, like that's a totally different deal than having to guide a team through the summer, through training camp, through the ups, through the downs. Like, Sharon Moore after the Texas game is going to have to re-rally this team because they're going to get smashed by Texas at home. And all of a sudden, the shine of being the new young head coach who was undefeated and beat Ohio State and all that other stuff, that's all going to go away fast. Because if there's one thing I know about college football is that however much they love you or how great they think you are, as soon as you lose one, especially if you get smashed at home by a team like Texas, there is already fans that are going to be mumbling like, okay, who can we get next? Who's next on the hit list? And like I said, I thought they'd be more successful in recruiting because again, Michigan is still a top 5 brand. I mean, they're a huge brand. They've always been a national brand. They've always recruited coast to coast. And like, you haven't seen it because I think that all these kids have gotten much smarter. These kids are a million times smarter than they were 5 years ago because now they're a lot of agents. So they don't just have bomb. A lot of these kids, single parent homes, they don't really know what's going on. Now they've got agents that are like wicked sharp, and they can tell, hey guys, I don't know if you want to go up there right now because I'm telling you, like if these guys get smashed, you don't want to be stuck there in the vortex. If it's all even and it's Michigan or Georgia or Ohio State or Bama, like don't go to the one that could get smashed by the NCAA. Go to the other 3, and away we go. And I think their recruiting reflects that because I don't see them, kicking doors in on big time kids like they should be after winning a national championship. But, when you win it and then everybody leaves, there's a reason why you shouldn't be overly excited if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan. Ben G, thank you for the 20. Appreciate you, my friend. Any word on how Jim Knowles and James Laurinaitis are meshing? Seems to me Jim would be relieved to delegate a bit. Oilers or Canucks today? CBJ fan, but hope my guy Rick Tocchet wins. Guy is such a beauty. Wish CBJ hired him. He is a fantastic coach. Good God. I mean, God, everything in the world is telling me to take the Oilers tonight because Brock Besser's out, which is crazy. Their best player gets blood clots like on his off day, and he's out tonight. So that's a huge hole in that lineup. But their goaltending has been so skittish with Skinner. So I don't know. I mean, you put a gun to my head. I think it's hard to go against McDavid and Draisaitl, but their goaltending has been such a letdown. And the guy from the Canucks has been good. So, it's really just depends who's the hot goalie and how many power plays does Edmonton get. Um, I think James and Jim Knowles are meshing really well. I think there's a lot of trust there. I think that, Matt Gianni is killing it, helping James learn the coverages. To the point where he doesn't. James isn't like some slow learner. Like he's already really confident in it, but now I'm sure it's to the point where it's old hat and he's in good shape. So I'm excited to see what he does with Sonny Styles, especially. And I think Sonny's going to take a huge leap this year. You have really good intel on him that he might be better than CJ Hicks. So watch for that to pop. It seems to me Jim would be relieved to delegate a bit. I'm sure every coordinator in his dream could actually just be a coordinator. Because then you can see everybody, you can help everybody, but most importantly, you can evaluate everybody. Because, like, if you're stuck coaching linebackers and you're a defensive coordinator, how are you supposed to know who's the best second team tackles when you can't watch their individual work? You can't go watch them do one-on-one pass rush. Like, you're just kind of stuck with the linebackers the whole time. So, again, you can always watch it on film, but I think anytime you can, like, get, especially, like, in your head, you kind of know who guys are. Like, he doesn't need to spend a ton of time evaluating Jack Sawyer and JT, but he needs to evaluate the crap out of Kenyatta, Caden Curry, Edric Houston. Like he needs to go see those guys, and see and not just see how they're doing in practice, but see how they're being coached. See, I think that's the big benefit to being a walk around guy is that when you're the guy and you're the coordinator, when you walk around, it's kind of like when your boss is walking around. And if your boss is over your shoulder, like it's different than if you're just chilling, and that's how everybody is. Like when Urban Meyer was in the staff room, when we were an offensive staff in 2012, it was like Full Metal Jacket. When he left, like the greatest week of my entire life at Ohio State was after we gave up 49 points to the Indiana Hoosiers. And Urban Meyer on Sunday said, I'm spending the entire week in the defensive staff room with Luke Fickell and Everett. And so for like me and Tom Herman and Ed Warner and Zach Smith and Tim Hint and CMG, it was like heaven on earth. Oh my God. Because we weren't like sitting like we're in like a Chinese water torture chamber like for 8 hours a day because Urban wasn't there ready to kill us every second. So we were just as productive. It's just, it's just fun to not have. So the defense for 1 week got to deal with what we got to deal with, which was hilarious because, I'd go out and talk to our GA, Shane Bone, who's the DC for the New York Giants now, and I'd say, how was it with the big dog in there? And oh God, it was not fun. So it's different. But I like that he's a walk-around guy now, and I think it'll make our defense even better this year. Nevada, Benji, again, thank you for the 20. Thank you for being an Ultra member. Appreciate you, man. You're on here all the time, so thank you for being a big regular for us. Any word on how Knowles and James Laurinaitis are meshing? Seems to me Jim would be relieved to delegate a bit. Oilers or Canucks tonight, CBJ fan, but hope my guy Rick Tocchet wins. Guy's such a beauty. Wish the CBJ had hired him. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean Knowles and Lauren. I mean Knowles was pushing for James to get the job. Knowles is a super cerebral guy, so he loves the fact that James is a super cerebral guy, so they can nerd out on each other about defense. And so no, that's and you're spot on. Every coordinator worth their salt, I mean, every boss worth their salt really wants to delegate, but you want to delegate to people that can do the job as well as you can, or better than you can. And I think with James Laurinaitis, you're talking about a guy who played the game at the highest level, super smart guy, super hard worker. Great communicator. So no, Knowles is thrilled with the addition of staff, and I think what you're seeing is a staff that is in perfect alignment with each other. And obviously the long-standing relationship between Matt and Jim Knowles that goes back to Duke. Obviously, James is stepping right in there. He's not going to cause any problems. The offensive side with Chip Kelly and Ryan Day and Justin Fry. I mean, just you just I mean, I've just never seen anything like it. And we've seen staffs when they're not aligned. We know what it looks like, and we know staffs when you see alignment. And on the defensive side, they're in perfect alignment. And I think it's going to translate itself in terms of a very coherent, very organized defensive effort. As for the hockey, how can you bet? I just think Edmonton is better than Vancouver, and if they get any power plays too, they're going to score. So, and I'm going with Calvin Pickard. I don't even know if he's going to be going goal, maybe Skinner, but I'm still going to go with Edmonton. I'm going to ride Edmonton. I think they get it done. I think it's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, I do too. But I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl are just insane. So it's hard to, it's really tough to go against those guys. All right. Ben G again, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the 5. Again, thank you for being an ultra member. Any idea where Stalions got the ink toner for that god awful fake mustache? Gotta love the Creed Bratton special. Nevada, that was pretty bad. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know why you rock the glasses and the fake mustache. But again, like you're already a risky dude if you're there and you're not supposed to be. What are your thoughts, Nevada, on the Conor Stalions fake mustache?
Yeah, that was the porn stash was really kind of disturbing. But it's always the little things that give them away. They have the outfit down, and you're like, man, I look just like a Central Michigan coach all the way down, but he forgot the shoes. Like you can change the outfit, but you're not bringing a second pair of shoes, and he's wearing different shoes than everybody else is wearing. Dead giveaway that he wasn't. He's the only guy dressed up like a Central Michigan coach who's not wearing the right pair of shoes. So, yeah, it's like I said, it's always the little details. It's like in the movie Inception. You got to get all the details right if you're going to go layer upon layer inside somebody's brain. But Stalions didn't think this thing through. He didn't bring that, didn't get that Central Michigan pair of shoes, wore his Michigan shoes, dead giveaway. And and he's going to get the hammer as a result.
Well, the thing is like, and again, I know I'm probably the only one that's coached college. And if there are more, please put in the chat that you've coached college football. It's like we all get the same shoes on game day. Like literally, like they get handed everybody the same pair of shoes, and you're expected to wear that the same. Everyone wears the same slacks, same pair of shoes. The shirts are different. Obviously, the head coach always has his little signature thing where Ryan always wears a black shirt. Urban always had the white top. He either wore white at home or red on the road, and he was like the only guy that was allowed to wear those colors. It was just like he had his own little things, idiosyncrasies or whatever. But no, like none of us could go out there in like a white quarter zip, pullover unless you wanted Urban to fire you on site because that was like his thing. But it is interesting because I can't get over the fact that this hasn't been made public or resolved. But again, I just think that they're just trying to hope that it gets buried behind everything else. But it is crazy that he was on there. And the funnier thing is like since it's a smaller school, like because if it was like another Big Ten school, it'd be a whole different ball of wax. But I'm sure that someone got fired or somebody was told to move on during the season or after, probably as soon as they figured out who let the guy in, because that's the craziest thing. Is like someone literally had to go make another sideline pass to get him on there, or they just gave him their sideline pass and they just went down with the team and were hoping nobody would catch him without their sideline pass, because that could happen too. But it is hilarity. And again, as much as I want to fault Jim McElwain, like there's so many people on the sideline that like if I imagine like if I was Urban or Ryan Day, and I'm down there on the sideline and I'm the head coach and I'm stressed out, I got game to manage and everything. You don't know every single person who's on that sideline. You really don't. I mean, there's interns. Usually the interns because they're coaching with the other, but you don't know every manager usually. There's always all these ancillary people that are down there, especially at Ohio State sideline is like there's 1,000 people down there that frankly don't really need to be. So if for a guy like Conor Stalions to be down there, like, I don't know, he'd probably just assume that it was like another equipment guy or a different student trainer or something. I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to like let him off the hook, but it is pretty nuts down there on game day. Donald and Karen at Rossbuck, hope you guys are having a great.
No, hold on. hold on before you get that. I I just had this vision of you wearing like the white quarter zip during the game or something like that. I mean, you look like the abominable snowman or like the Bumble from like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or something like that. That'd be like a big thing of white. Like you think that Urban wouldn't have noticed you wearing all that white there on the sideline?
I'd look like a jar of mayonnaise, and it'd be terrible. Like nobody wants to see that. I promise you.
You-
Like a gallon of milk walking around on the sideline. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
oh my god,
No,
I'm just thinking that's a lot of white, man.
yeah, I've never
That's a,
been like I don't like wear like white clothes. I mean, I wear black every day. You guys know that by now. I mean, you guys have seen. I've got like how many of these identical hoodies laying out. My wife folds them up and puts them next to here, so I always have a big stack of them ready to go when I'm ready to do the show. So, but yeah, I wear black every day, so I'm not wearing a white thing. I mean, you gotta be pretty confident to pull that one off. Let alone let alone if it's hot out, you're gonna get pitted out. Like that looks terrible. Those photos last forever. So, but I appreciate that imagery. I'm sure the rest of the chat does too. So, all of you regulars in here, shout out to Nevada Bet Online Buck for everything that he did on here. Donald and Karen Rosbeck, appreciate you both. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Thank you for the 5. Thank you for being ultra members. Thank you for being on here every night too. I appreciate you guys so much. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I bet Michigan paid Central Michigan to let Stallions on the sideline. That is why they went dark. Nevada OH. See, I really think that this was like Conor Stalions. Because again, if you said, Kirk, how could something like this happen? I'm like, well, there's always like this little like melting pot of young coaches that are like GAs and interns and like the general scrubs, the peons of the organizations. And like when you get together at camp, like when Michigan hosts a camp, like in general, like Central Michigan, if they're not on the schedule that very year, they'll come over to the camp and they might work the camp. They might usually they just evaluate the camp. Now, well, back in the day, they used to literally just work side and side with us. And, if you have like an O-line coach from, and we used to do this with the D3 coaches too, like from Heidelberg and from Capital and whatever, they would come to our camps and they would like run position drills with us. So we'd run like, all right, Kirk, you got this drill. Ed Warner's got this drill. Head coach Heidelberg's got this drill. This guy's got this drill. Because, when you're running like 8 drills, like those guys are good coaches. So it's like, let them take a drill, and especially when you're running some of the early stuff, and then you kind of bring everybody together at the end for the one-on-ones. But I bet they got to know each other. They probably went to coaching conventions together. They probably went to the Michigan, you see these guys a lot. So when you're at the big school, when you're at Michigan or Michigan State, and you see the guys at the MAC schools, the guys at the MAC schools all want to be at Michigan. They don't want to be at Western Michigan for the rest of their lives. So they all, kind of, get to know the Michigan coaching clinic. If you guys go to the Ohio coaching clinic, if you guys go to the national convention, you network, you get to know each other. So I'm sure that Conor knew somebody that was on that staff, and I'm sure it was a lower level guy. It wasn't like a full-time assistant. And he said, hey, we don't play till the next day at 3:30. I don't have to go to team dinner. Maybe I could sneak over on your sideline and try to get a look at their signals, blah, 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 for Michigan State, whatever. And they're like, yeah, dude, do that. That'd be great. And put in a good word for me with the boss, Jim Harbaugh, or whoever, because that's how this gets done. Because, usually like when you're a lower level guy like Conor Stalions, like you're not required to go to the team meal in the hotel the night before the game. That's usually for the head coaches, the GAs. If you're below that, you usually aren't at the team dinner. But again, it could be different by school, but that's how it is at Ohio State. And it's a similar type budget operation. So again, it's what it is. So I think that I don't think Michigan paid anything. I know Michigan's dumb. I don't think they're that dumb. I could see, maybe that donor that gave Conor Stalions money might have gave Conor money. He might have slipped the guy, $500 or a couple $100 or whatever for the troubles of making a press pass. But, I don't think that this was some, this is like a hairpin scheme. This isn't like some super high level spy thing. This is like, hey, I'll meet you at the gate. I'll buy a ticket to the game. I'll meet you outside the locker room. Hand me my credential or hand me your credential, and I'll walk down on the sideline. Get me a polo, whatever. Like again, this isn't neurosurgery, but because again, I always think I was like, how hard would that be to do somewhere like Central Michigan versus Michigan State, like it's not that hard, And again, like you have to track the credentials. And again, once the guys are down on the field, if for some reason you lose your credential or your field pass or whatever, like once you're through pregame warmups, they're not really checking for your credentials anymore. Like when you first walk down on the field, they'll check for your badge. But like, when you're running it at halftime or start the game, like when all those coaches are running out of the tunnel at Ohio Stadium, like you don't see like some cops sitting there scanning everyone's, checking for badges. They just jog to the sideline and get over there, and then the Buckeyes run out, and then the other team runs out, and so if you get through pregame warmups, you're straight. And I think that's exactly what happened. And those guys know it. I mean, if I know it, then they know it. So I think that's how it happened. Nevada, anything to add to Donald Kieran Rosbeck? I bet Michigan paid Central Michigan to let Stallions on their sideline. Again, I think if something happened, Connor might have slipped someone a couple $100 for a polo and a pass, but I don't think that Michigan directly did that. That would be crazy. But again, I've seen crazier stuff. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, no, you have to remember, like Stallions was the head of the Geppettos, okay, and like he had his little cadre of guys, and he was considered to be like the king bee, where he had gone from hanger on fanboy to, hey, I got a full-time job at Michigan, and I'm writing the manifesto where I'm going to redefine the future of Michigan football, and then when I'm the king, I'm going to bring all you little minions on with me. So you got to understand, he had his little follower crew out there on all these little schools. Every directional school in Michigan had his little fanboys of Stallions, and he was the big dog. So I have no doubt that he just went to one of his little followers there and was like, "Hey, get me on. I'm on assignment for Michigan. Got a big job that Harbaugh's handed down to me." And they're, "Yes, sir, Mr. Stallions. We'll get you. I'll get you an outfit. I'll get you a shirt and do the whole thing." And I'm sure he was so excited to do it. And then this whole thing's kind of blown up. And now this poor schmuck at Central Michigan's going to get fired and going to be disgraced, or he's already been, or whatever. And all he was trying to do was curry favor with Stallions, who had these delusions of grandeur. So yeah, no, I do not believe Michigan. I believe this was a Conor Stalions joint, and I think he did it with the assistance of some silly Walmart meeting whatever person from Central Michigan.
I totally agree. Jim Jackson, thank you for the 5 preacher man. Hey, Kirk, chance of Nevadabuck making the next meetup. I'd love to meet him. Legend. Appreciate y'all. Nevada OH. That's up to Nevada. I mean, he's got a long way to come from Los Angeles. So, I mean, that's up to him, man. I mean, it's easy for me because I'm 10 minutes away from all these places. So, but Nevada, your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to come just to heckle your kids in full ice hockey or something like that, and I want to be the first parent like ejected from the rink for your mini mites thing. So I might just kind of do that. Maybe come out there, go out there, yell at the kids out there in the ice hockey thing, and then go to the meetup. That's a perfect weekend for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be absolutely fantastic, actually. So
pound on the glass. Yeah.
Throw a squid on the ice. That'd be amazing.
Exactly. Shoot the puck. That. Shoot the puck. Don't pass it. Don't pass it, little Kirk.
Patriot, thank you for the 20 preacher man. For the troops, Kirk, I need at least one douchebag a show. Nevada OH. I think the Michigan people are douchebags. I really do. I think that the coaching staff is a bunch of douchebags. I think that it's going to be really interesting. This is going to be a very interesting ordeal for these guys. So we're going to see. Like, I mean, again, they're confident, but I don't know, man. I think it's tough to get overconfident when they're that painted in a corner with what they did. It's my opinion. Nevada. Again, he says he needs a douchebag. At least one. I mean, people love when I say douchebag, which is weird, but I think it's hilarious. For the troops, Kirk, I need at least one douchebag a show. Nevada, I don't know if there's anyone that you talked to today that you'd like to call a douchebag, but if you'd like to, now would be a great time.
Yeah, I want to give you. It's a cautionary tale. This is Nevada. This is like life's little moments with Nevada, where I kind of educate you guys. Been betting with Bet Online for years and years. BetOnline, if you're not aware of who they are, they're offshore book. BetOnline, and BetOnline tried to basically take money from me, and then they claimed that the money wasn't in the account, and they literally tried to make me sound like a crazy person. Their customer, I talked to like 6 different people, and they're all telling me online, "Oh no, you never had that much money in the account. Oh no, you." They literally are calling me a liar, telling me I imagined it, and it was in the end, it somehow the money ended up back in the account after I just lambasted them. But it's kind of a cautionary tale because with these offshore books, you don't really have any recourse. You don't really have a legal recourse. I'm not sure what the jurisdiction would be to sue them or whatever to do. The only thing you can give them is bad publicity. But I'm telling you, if you're betting with BetOnline, like I have been, and I've been a satisfied customer of BetOnline for a long time, be careful because they can just take your money and there's nothing you can do about it. And my story ended up happy, but I was not happy earlier in the day. And so cautionary tale, my free advice to you today from Nevadabuck.
I like it. Devin, what is up, my friend? I hope you had a great weekend fishing with our boy Shof. I hope you guys had fun together, and I hope the food was good. Thanks for being an ultra member. Thanks for the wrench. Thanks for the 10, brother. Can we see Conor stupid on the sideline again, please? It's hilarious. How are they even allowed in the playoffs? 2024 Natty Lock, Nevada OH. Yeah, I'll put this back on because it is hilarious when you watch it over and over again. You're just like, here's our guy. He's got the hat on. Again, he's like looking.
Look at the tug of the hat now, tugging it down.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
there's nothing why would you ever do that? Everybody else is over here looking to see if this guy's okay. Did he dislocate his knee on this bench? Jumped up on the thing. And Conor, knowing full well that the camera's here, is like that. Down, head down, hat pulled down. Like I said, if this happens on any other sideline, you're looking over to make sure that this guy's okay. But he is looking down, no regard for that guy because he doesn't know him because he's not on the staff. So, it's so bad. And again, this is the funny thing. I've never seen a coach in the history of coaching during a game do this. So, I mean, come on. What are we doing? So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if there's some sort of a resolution that comes out with the Michigan State staff on that. Pooh Beard, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, my man. With the Nuggets gone, let's bring back Tinkerbuck to get Mike Conley the ring he deserves. Crazy that with all our great college players this millennium, he's the one with the best pro career. Nevada OH. Yeah, I mean, Mike Conley Nikola Jokic saying he's the most underrated player in the NBA is pretty interesting. I mean, he's the all-time leading scorer for the Grizzlies. I mean, at one point, Mike Conley was the highest paid player in the entire National Basketball Association, that's crazy. And again, I think Mike Conley is obviously he's a fantastic player, easily one of the 5 best Buckeyes of all time, if you count his NBA career. But, he was higher paid than LeBron, Kobe, Carmelo. This is a time where there's some big, and these guys make a ton now, but it's he was over 30 million 10 years ago, which is crazy. But he's had a great career. He's got probably the best player in the NBA next to him with Ant, who's crazy good. They've got 2 centers, which nobody has 2 centers. So they're something, and now he's got Kyrie. And I don't know if Ant's going to be checking Kyrie, but that'll be a great matchup. So yeah, he's, obviously when he's playing with Odin, everyone's, Odin's the number 1 overall pick. But Colin went right behind him. He went super early in that draft. So it's crazy to see how great he's been. Obviously he's a great person. I sat with him at a football game. Super guy. Happy for him. Glad that he's still kicking along. He's old. He played a lot of basketball. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Nevada, with the Nuggets gone, let's bring back Tinkerbuck to get Mike Conley the ring he deserves. Crazy. I think with all our great college players this millennium, he's the one with the best pro career. Nevada, your thoughts?
Yeah, Mike. I remember the recruitment of Mike like it was yesterday, and it was so funny because there was a large contingent of people that were claiming the only reason he was being offered was to get Odin, that he was kind of the throw-in, that you have to take Conley to get Greg Oden. And watching him play out there, I'd forgotten about him. So I see a shot and I'm like, it's like you have this little look of remembrance, wow, that guy looks kind of familiar. And they're like, oh, Mike Conley. And you're like, I thought he'd retired like 5 years ago. So the fact that not only is he playing, but playing at such a high level is just absurd. And like you said, couldn't happen to a better guy. Not everybody in the NBA
Mhm.
is a nice guy, but
No.
Mike is a nice guy, and I'm happy for him. And we'll definitely, if they make it to the finals, we'll definitely pull out Tinkerbuck and see if Tinkerbuck can use the positivity of the Ohio State nation to get Mike Conley in the ring.
Yeah, they got to get through Tinker, Luka Doncic first, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Go
Tinker
ahead.
Doncic.
Tinker
Tinker
Doncic.
Doncic.
He's nasty now. Buck Nasty, thank you for the 5. I watched the Bananas on the Stadium channel. I assume that's the Savannah Bananas. Great watch. Thank you for the 5. Thank you for being an Ultra member as well. Nevada, you know the guy that bought the Savannah Bananas. He was one of your understudies way back when. I don't know if he was with you in Las Vegas or where it was, but he, what a marketing machine. I mean, my God, they sell out. I mean, we have, there's a lot of places that have access. Like Huntington Park, like sold that out like instantly. So it's like the hottest ticket in like in baseball. But your thoughts on the Savannah Bananas and your dude that is the owner of the Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, there's actually was two guys. The formation of the Savannah Banners was actually two guys. Was a guy named Steve DeLay and Jesse Cole. Jesse Cole now is the top banana. Just a master showman. For those people that go back in time and can remember the great Bill Veck and what he did with the St. Louis Browns and some of the great promotions, Eddie Goodell, the midget that he brought up to the plate, and just known as the ultimate showman. I think Jesse Cole's that guy right now. I think Jesse has taken it to another level. I think the idea of bringing a touring sport like they did with the Globetrotters for years to baseball was great. Um, I said on our sort, I think the next big idea would be to have a touring soccer team, do a similar concept, but with soccer, because soccer lends itself so much to ball tricks and individual skill and doing that type of thing. And with the growth of soccer right now, how big it's becoming, not only obviously in the world, but in the United States, I think if you had a traveling team, a la the Globetrotters for basketball, a la the Bananas on Party Animals for baseball, do it for soccer. I really think that's a big idea. So somebody's going to take that idea and run with it. But another another idea given for free from Nevadabuck, and you get all this for free on this YouTube channel. And all we ask is a little like on the end, hit that little thumbs up. But yeah, big idea. Soccer touring team, a la the Bananas. I think that's a home run idea.
Yeah, I think especially with the crew stadium, all the different stadiums that are popping up for the MLS teams, like, I mean, these AAA parks sell out for the Savannah Bananas like instantly. If you got like a big time soccer team, because there's obviously soccer is the global sport. Everybody plays soccer, so I think that's kind of a no brainer. I mean, like you said, the ball tricks, the showmanship, the amount of fun that you could do in a soccer game, I think makes a lot of sense. Cade Weston, thank you for the 100. That is very generous. Thank you for being an ultra member. Appreciate you, my friend. OH, this is actually for Kirk. He says, so I'll say IO back. Nevada was asking about consumer goods because a couple investment opportunities here in San Diego. If you're ever in San Diego visiting your daughter, would love to show you them and buy you a meal/drink. And happy to buy a drink or for any Scoop fam visiting San Diego. That is very generous of you. And San Diego is a gloriously beautiful part of the world right now. Nevada, your thoughts? I mean, I don't know how often you're in San Diego, but I was there for the NFL Rookie Symposium. It's the only time I've ever been there, and it is gorgeous. But your thoughts, and thank you, kid. That's very generous.
Yeah, actually in San Diego all the time. Send me your information at Buckeye Scoop at gmail.com. And and we gotta take this thing offline. But no, down there, obviously my daughter lives down in San Diego. My other son goes to UC Riverside, so kind of Riverside County. My other son's going to UC Santa Barbara, so a lot of Southern California things. But I mean, I love San Diego. I've always said that if I didn't live in Manhattan Beach, I really truly believe that for to raise a kids and raise a family and be there, that Manhattan Beach is the greatest place in the entire world of all places. But second best would be San Diego. San Diego in general, Del Mar, Pacific Beach. I mean, one of those places. But I love everything about San Diego, and So yeah, would love to hook it up. Buckeye Scoop at gmail.com, and we'll get together.
Perfect. Mike Weston, again, thank you for the 10 and thank you for being an Ultra member as well. Appreciate you. But football question, who do you guys think will be the 10 remaining Buckeye commits for 2025? Ooh, that is a nice ask. I mean, who do we hope for? Or who do we, I mean, obviously I'm hoping for David Sanders Jr. We've done like 10 videos on him, so he'd be a nice ad. We're good at quarterback. Receiver, I'm gonna say Jamie French. I'm gonna say Vernell Brown. I'm gonna say DeCorian Moore. Not do we get all three of those? That'd be crazy, but that'd be as good as we've ever done. But we're in the game for all of them, and with Brian Hartline, I don't sweat anything with a wide receiver recruiting. Running backs, we're getting your kid from De La Salle, Jordan Davison. It doesn't look like we're getting Bo Jackson now. I think we're getting the kid that was committed to Kentucky, and then maybe a third one. Um, I don't
No,
know. Good.
did I miss something about? Did I miss something about Jackson? Is Bo Jackson all hope is lost? Did I miss something?
I don't
Was
think
I
all
like
hope is
asleep
lost, but
and,
he's.
something
I think
came out there?
he's trending towards Georgia. So I don't know what that means, but we offered that kid that's committed to Kentucky.
I don't even know
So
what that. Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
no, but I mean the plan's always been to take three running backs. That's always been the plan. I mean, that was the premise on which he was offered. So I don't, I mean, it's going to be Wes Davison, and I mean, are we basing
And
this on
Bo.
like a berm report or something like that?
No,
Is that what we're talking about?
then we're getting Bo Jackson. I honestly don't care because I think that Jordan
No, no,
Davison's
no,
better
no, no,
anyways.
no. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to figure out what the source of the stuff is because like I see stuff people like Berm. Like I've known Berm. Berm worked for me at a hamburger running a hamburger place that I had years and years ago. So I've known Berm as long as anybody. And Berm's a great guy, but man, he's been on a cooler as of late. So if he's the one saying it, I would just say let's just kind of wait a little bit. Recruiting's a little bit fluid right now. No one's good at the recruiting thing anymore. Wilt Fong stinks at the recruiting thing. They're all bad at it. They're all bad at it, and so it's not a diss at anybody. I'm just saying I think being the days of being a recruiting guru are over because it's just too hard. They're all just throwing darts, and if they're right, I think it's more by accident than any other reason. But that's my two
I
cents.
I think you're right. I think with NIL and with the portal and with all the different things, coaches leaving, like it's really hard to project where these guys are going now. It's really hard. But in fairness for the question, I like Justin Hill. I like Zahir Mathis. TJ Alford was going to visit Georgia. He did not get there this weekend, so that's good. Nathaniel Owosu Boateng. If we get those three linebackers, I think we're going to be in really good shape. If we get Alfred Lee and Owosu Boateng, that'll be great. Dorian Brew, I think yes. Fahim Deline, we got McNutt. I think good shot at him. So I can't imagine McNutt not coming here, especially when his dad was a great Buckeye. So yeah, I mean that's about who I think it's going to be. Now, if we lose a bunch of guys, a bunch of early entries to the draft, where we have guys at the portal and the numbers swell, then we will adjust those as we go. So that is a great question, though, and I appreciate that. So all you recruitniks out there can get a little taste of what we're thinking for the class. Let me see. What else you got, Nevada? Had the bet online fiasco. Anything
The
else?
bet the bet online fiasco, the Central Michigan mayhem, Jim Harbaugh and his Michigan foibles, recruiting is crazy. Yeah, I think I'd add a couple of interior linemen to our list on the 2025 thing. I think we'll definitely add a couple of interior linemen on top of that, on top of the tackle, on top of Sanders, and add that to Carter Lowe. Um, and I don't think I have anything else for today. I think that's pretty much it.
Good. Well, we could wrap the show up. Any final thoughts?
No, just appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys so much. Fun show tonight. Big crowd tonight. Everybody
Yep.
listening. If you can leave us a like on your way out, it's super helpful. Just hit the little thumbs up button. Helps other people find the show. Helps other people, get it on their feed. And just we really, really, really appreciate you guys being here. And We might have some good stuff cooked up for tomorrow night. So we'll see you tomorrow night, same time.
Yeah, and also with the gear drop, I wanted to add because I had 1,000 people hit me up
Oh,
about it.
gear drop, gear
We are
drop.
adding, yeah, so I'm going to throw up the QR code so you guys can check the shop out. We are adding a white massive shirt because everyone's like, we want another massive shirt. So we're doing a white one now. It's a white Under Armour shirt, the same one that's already in the store. Was going to say the same massive font that the last one had. So it is going to be very, very slick. It's going to look awesome.
Massive,
So
massive.
massive. Hey, people love the massive shirts, man. That was one of our hottest sellers. I was like, okay, that's our word now. Massive is officially owned by BuckeyeScoop.com. So we appreciate you guys hyping that up. So we have a white massive shirt. So if that's not in there now, it'll be in there soon. And I just appreciate you guys so much. So get your Father's Day gear orders in. There is the QR code. You just hold your phone up against the screen. If not, you can go to repthescoop.com, REPTHESCOOP.com, and you'll get right to it. And the link is also in the bio to the show. So we appreciate you guys as always. We will wrap this show up. Again, thank you guys. I hope you guys had a great Monday. If you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, a huge night here on BuckeyeScoop.com. We appreciate you guys so much for being a part of our show each and every night. The chat was awesome. Thank you to our moderators, Akeem, Doreen, Kim, obviously, and Devin. I appreciate that. Sorry, I got this is hilarious. Rick Smith, I appreciate you. Thanks for the deuce. Just joined. Was up with McChicken. It's funny because I grew up eating McChickens, especially when I was a freshman in college. There's some really interesting stuff going on with Harbaugh, potentially a lifetime show cause, which would be huge. That's something they're talking about internally with the punishments. We've got a good source on that. So the beginning of the episode, we kind of go into full detail of it, but that would be very interesting to see what Roger Goodell would do if that actually went through, because that is a huge deal. And he has smacked people that have tried to run from college before. See Jim Tressel when he went to the Colts, he was suspended immediately. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But with that being said, shout out who you guys are watching with. Shout out where you guys are watching from. We appreciate you guys. This is another huge episode. So thank you so much. Huge show because you guys made it one. So thank you. That being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. And thank you, Scoop family. I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Bucks.